Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another English series. That's right, we are going to do another English series again, or let's rather say we are starting a proper English series because the other one wasn't. I don't know how long was it? 5 episodes, 6 episodes? We didn't do too many, and I had a lot of fun recording the English series and I know you guys had a lot of fun watching, and I really enjoyed that. Uh, some of you could watch that couldn't watch my videos otherwise or didn't understand what I was talking about. And anyways, it was fun all around. And I pretty much I remember saying I always want to do a English series on the channel. Or I always want to have a English series running on my channel. This didn't work out as the last English series, as we did on Silver Run after Platinum was released, just kind of ran out. And the reason for that was that I just had too many issues with the mods. I did want to play with realistic North American mods, just because I usually tend to try and play with vehicles and or vehicle styles that fit the area I'm trying to play because, well, realism. And that's just part of the fun for me. And well, a lot of the American stuff just didn't work right, and a lot of the stuff that I had on the save game already gave me a lot of trouble, gave me a lot of issues. I had a lot of physics issues with the trailers I used and the logs, and I did some testing and realized that the default platinum stuff worked much better. And so I eventually came to the conclusion that I can't continue the series because it's just too frustrating to try and play with forestry and logs if they just keep moving on the trail and stuff like that. And since I had the last 2-3 episodes, I had to cut a lot and I had to redo a lot because, well, stuff happened. So yeah, that kind of took the enjoyment out of that series, and that's the reason why I canceled it or why I didn't continue it. So what are we doing now? We are here on the Karhuvaara map. This map is playing in Finland. It is a fictive or fictitious town in the district of Nordsavo. And it's not a real terrain as far as I know, but it is capturing the essence of the area pretty well. I did a spotlight video, a German video where I took a look at the map, and I think it feels really authentic. I did compare it with some Google Street View captures of the area, and it's a pretty nice map. It's, of course, a pretty boring map in a sense, because, well, there's just not that much on the map. I mean, if you look at the PDA, it's just mainly forest, and in that sense, it is very similar to the Silver Run map. The Silver Run map had a little bit more detail going, a little bit more like town and stuff like that. On here, there's pretty much not a lot to explore, but we don't really need that because we want to drive tractors and trucks and stuff like that. So, anyways, I think that was enough of an intro. Let's just start right in or jump right into this series. Of course, I am playing as realistic as possible and as realistic as I enjoy it. I do um, play a lot more onto the visual realism as compared to other realisms. So let's just say I'm not for in-cab driving all the time. So I really enjoy watching the vehicles work and move from the outside perspective. So I kind of sometimes do in-cab driving, sometimes do outside driving. I don't really. I mean, there's some stuff that just can't be simulated in farm sim for all the like field work and stuff, like pests and all that stuff. I mean, that is pretty lame in farm sim compared to real life, and I don't try to emulate that stuff. I just leave it as it is in farm sim because I lack the knowledge of how it is done in real life. So stuff like that. So yeah, just so you know what you're in for. I try to play as realistic as possible as far as my knowledge goes, and the visual realism and making sure that the vehicles I use are good models and nice models and stuff like that is more important to me than other things. Although in general I try to play realistic. Now, other than that, I usually do a little bit of role play or a little bit of story playing. So I tend to invent stories around the farm or around well, everything I play. So you're definitely going to get that. And if you were part of, or if you watched the Silver Run series, you of course already knew that. And if you are one of my regular German viewers, you of course already knew that also. Anyways, I think let's jump right in. Finally, after a few of admin stuff right out of the way. But I mean, it's important to talk about that stuff. And also, you're going to see pretty soon that I am going to talk a lot. That's just a thing, right? Um, I mean, it's a let's play. So what do you expect? Anyways, let's just stump. Yeah, right. You're also going to realize that my English is far from perfect, and I do lack a lot of exercise lately. So it probably takes me a while to get back into the English recording. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. I hope you can understand most of the things I try to say, anyways. So now let's just jump right in to the story. We're here in Nordsavo, and I bought myself an old farm. I mean, it's kind of a derelict, but also not really. I mean, the buildings are still pretty much fine, but you can see it's a bit overgrown, and it hasn't been used as a farm in a long, long time. So I bought this a couple of months back, and I did a lot of work moving all my stuff. I also bought a lot of stuff, and all of that I'm going to show you today. So we have a lot to cover, but I think the first thing to show you is my new house. That is my house, and it's a really beautiful, nice, small house. It's 1.5 stories, and it's not big, but it's enough. It's enough. Don't need that much or that big of a house. I'm usually outside doing work outside anyways. So it's but it's a pretty house. It's a pretty house. That was one of the main selling points why I went with the land. I did look at a lot of plots, a lot of lands, a lot of old farms in the area, and I didn't have a specific like town or something I wanted to be in. I was pretty open about that, so I had a lot of to choose from, and one of the reasons why I bought this one was because the house is it's a really beautiful house, and it's a little bit on a higher elevation compared to the rest of the farm, so it has a nice view, and it's just it's nice. So anyways, and that's pretty much all I'm going to tell you about the house. I'm not going to show you inside because that's private, but I'm going to show you around outside. Now, some of you probably ask yourself, what exactly are you doing? What are you working? What is your job? So I'm going to show you pretty much this is my job. This is my working rig, and I'm going to give a tour about this at some point maybe, but right now just a quick overview. It's pretty much a work truck, a field repair truck, and I'm doing a lot of field repairs. I'm a mobile mechanic for mainly forestry equipment. I also do a lot of like farm equipment, but mainly forestry equipment as we have a lot of forestry around here. So that is pretty much my day job. And as I'm not really locked down to a specific area with that, I was pretty free to where I wanted to move. And previously I had a very small house and basically just a parking spot and not much more. And I always wanted to have a little bit of a farm for myself, maybe a few animals and stuff like that. So yeah, this is pretty much hopefully the realization of that dream, but we are going to have a lot of work ahead of us. I also have a second truck. This one is a bit of a classic. I mean, this isn't a really new truck either. It's a truck. It's from the year 1986, I think. But this one is from the 70s, and it's been restored. It's really nice. It doesn't have too many miles on it, so this is a nice vehicle I do have for some like nice Sunday drives, or I don't drive this in like bad weather and stuff like that. But enough about that. Let's just walk right over there. You probably already saw those. Those are two of my trailers, and I do have a transport trailer for vehicles. Um, that is not very useful when doing like forest equipment repairs. I can't really transport a broken harvester with this one, but Yeah, I have used it plenty times to like haul a car or something like that. I also did some car repairs. Basically, I pretty much repair anything you want me to repair, but I'm mainly specialized on the forestry equipment. I also have a small normal trailer for the car. It looks a bit small behind my truck. I always wanted a bigger one, but they are very expensive. And since the truck bed can also haul stuff, combine the truck bed with this, I usually can haul enough of the things I want to haul. Now, let's just say we come to the interesting part. This here is pretty much all stable, and there's not much going on inside. There isn't really a lot of space or a lot of room. There's all the animal boxes, animal pens and stuff in there, so there are no vehicles inside. But yeah, vehicles are over there. And also you can see I have a nice bit of a pasture here that's already fenced in, and maybe we can put some animals there one day. I definitely want to have some animals, but maybe also on the other pastures. I'm going to show you the size of the land I own right here later on. But it's a big area. It's I have a pasture over there. I also have a pasture over there, and pretty much the forest all around those pastures is already also mine. So let's just go to the most important building of this plot. It's this one, and I'm going to show you why, because this is where the work happens. This is not my work. This is my private work. As I said, I'm a mobile mechanic, so yeah, sometimes I get something here to fix it, just if it's bad to fix in the field for some reason, or maybe I have a engine removed from a vehicle and I'm going to do an engine overhaul in here. But this is more or less my private workshop, and it's still a lot of stuff in boxes and not really set up. As I said, I've bought this property a couple of months back, and I'm trying to move in. Also, I never had this much space to have a really like large and proper workshop. So I don't have a lot of tools to fill that workshop at the moment, because most of my tools are in the truck. I don't have a lot of like doubles or like tools spares. Basically, all the tools I own are tools that fit in the truck. Anyways, there's a little bit of a wood workshop area here too, so I don't have all the dust and stuff in here. So this is pretty much the second reason why I bought this land, is because there's already those workbenches were already here, and it's basically yeah, just made to be a workshop, and I always dreamed of having a workshop. Here we got, actually that's mine, that's not a customer's machine, that's a small lawn tractor John Deere 330, and I fixed it up, I painted it, it really looks like brand new. I initially wanted to flip it, I bought it really cheap and fixed it and wanted to sell it, but I enjoyed driving it so much that I kept it, and I knew that I wanted to have a property at some point, so I kind of kept it, because I thought, well, if you have a property, you're probably going to have to mow a lot. And yeah, now I have to mow a lot, so I have this. I also have this thing. I bought this not too long ago. I bought this actually right after I bought this property. I wanted to have something to move stuff around, to load stuff around, and I wanted a wheel loader, but those are so dang expensive. This thing, on the other hand, was rather cheap. I mean, it's a bit cumbersome to use, but it's still a loader, and it's a fine loader. It is, well, it has 4-wheel drive, and it's good. It's fine, and I do love old stuff, so it's got that going for it. I did paint it a little bit. I didn't do a complete repaint, but I did a bit of touch-ups and redid the decals and stuff like that, and it looks mighty fine now. So I really enjoy driving the thing. It has a very nice sound, actually. So now we come to my most like loved possession, and it's not this one, it's this one. This is a really nice Bollinger Munktell BM Terrier, old tractor, and I completely restored it. I had it apart, like down to the last bolt, and it's completely new. Every seal, every bearing, everything is new on this tractor, and I did restore it actually a couple of years back. So far I had it in a small garage, and I never really had any use for it other than driving around. I wanted a project when I first like got into mechanics and learned mechanic stuff. I wanted a project of my own, and I wanted to restore something, and I came across this tractor by accident, more or less. And so yeah, that's how it happened. And it's a bit of a weird tractor. It's a gasoline tractor. Um, they are kind of rare, I guess. I mean, in the US, gasoline tractors were like very common, even back into like mid to late 70s, I think. But here in Europe, in most countries, gasoline tractors were rather rare. And yeah, so this is not the best when it comes to fuel consumption, and it doesn't have a lot of low-end torque. It's a bit weird to drive actually if you used to like diesel heavy equipment, but it's a nice tractor. It's like how do you say it? It's very good on like the engine is very quick to respond to the gas pedal. It's actually really fun to drive around. Also, I have this little Trondium mower right here. I also fixed this one. It has a few small things broken, and it was cheap because it didn't run. But I fixed it, and now I have it. I wanted to sell this one, but I fell in love with it, so I kept it. Actually, this one I fixed after I moved here, so I thought, well, why not have a second mower? And yeah. Anyways, this is a nice tractor, and I'm going to hop into it, and I'm going to start it right now, and I'm going to drive to the other shed with it. So it starts fine. It starts in cold weather because it's a gasoline tractor. It doesn't have any issues starting. So let's just move out here. And yeah, isn't it beautiful? I mean, this is the classics, right? This is really what it's all about. I love tractors from this area, but area, right? From this era. I also love tractors from like the 70s and the 80s, and well, maybe someday we'll get another old tractor here on the farm. I don't know. But I did a lot of work over the past couple of months. As I said before, I only had a small garage and like enough room to park my truck in front of the house. So I didn't really have any space to like use the tractor to like do some field work or mowing or anything. And I didn't have any tools or stuff for the tractor. But since I moved here, I actually acquired a couple of tools for this tractor because I really wanted to use them. I did not use any of them yet because the last couple of months I just was way too busy with all the moving and also still going to work every day because this whole adventure is rather expensive and I need to earn some money. So yeah. Anyways, this is another shed, and as you can see, it's filled with tools. And I'm going to show you what I have here. We do have a little plow. I repainted that one. We do have a mower right there. It's in really good shape. We do have a wather. I'm not sure what the proper translation is at the moment. Windrower, I guess. Windrower. And I also did some work on that. I did replace the belts, and I also repainted it. I also repainted the cultivator, and I bought this hay header. I did not repaint this. This one was actually in really good condition. I just put some conserving oil on it, like some linseed oil, and it brought the paint back, and it looks really nice and shiny. And I also bought this cedar. This one I had to repaint. It was a bit rusty. I basically just put rust converter on it. Went over it with a what do you call it? Sometimes I just don't get some words. I do know that I know this word because I heard it a ton of times, but not sandpaper, but with steel brush. You know what I mean. Anyways, and put some rust converter on it and sprayed it with red paint. And I don't know if it works, but it looks fine. Yeah, so this is basically the tools I acquired. Also this trailer. I acquired over the last couple of months, and I kind of fixed them up on the side on the evenings, but like mostly repainting and just making them look nice because it just looked odd having a like rusty tool behind this very nice tractor. So I wanted them to have nice new paint. Anyways, I have not used any of those tools. I'm really looking forward to finally using them, making some hay around here. This one is another one of my pastures. It is a big one. and yeah, I wanted to use it to make some hay, and I'm really looking forward to it. Anyways, I told you that before. This field right here is also mine, but the stuff that's growing on there isn't. This is actually rented out to another farmer in the area, so I'm not sure if I will get this back at some point. I mean, I can get this back at some point, but I'm not sure if I really need to, because I have enough already with like the stuff I have here. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know. I really hope that with those tools I can make a lot of hay. I mean, I have this pasture, I have the other one that is fenced in, and I have another one on the other side of the forest that is basically just as big. And I'm not sure if those tools are too small or... Well, I have no idea. I have never really done any farming. I mean, I've done forestry stuff, so this is another thing I bought just a couple of days ago, actually. I haven't used it yet. I just parked it here. It runs fine. It looks a bit used. It also has been touched up with paint. Otherwise, it would have looked a lot more used. It's basically a little tipper, a little Volvo tipper. And it's also probably from the 70s, maybe even late 60s. It is a incredibly cool machine. I mean, isn't this just the most amazing, weird-looking tipper you've ever seen? I love this thing. I absolutely love this thing. And I mean, let's just turn this one off. I am going to show you. I will need to sit inside. Isn't this really, really nice? Isn't this amazing? I mean, this is just really like, I love those interiors of this classic machines where everything is very utilitarian and yet still beautiful for some reason. So anyways, as you can hear, it runs just fine. It does have a manual gearbox, so you need to shift it. And yeah, it drives. It drives very weird because you're sitting in front of the front axle on on a center steering. I don't know the word again. Articulated, that's the word. On an articulated vehicle, you sit in front of the front axle, and you have a very, very long nose in front of you, and it really it feels very odd driving this thing, but I love it, and I'm sure we're going to have some work for this. Anyways, what I was talking about was the work I did. I did some forestry work in the past, so I did actually do some manual tree felling, like with chainsaws and stuff, but I also did drive harvesters and forwarders, and so I also did that. Yeah, because in the beginning I couldn't find too much work as a mobile mechanic, or generally as a mechanic. I tried to like work on a normal shop, and this didn't really work out that well because, well, there aren't too many shops around in the area where I was living. It was similarly less few. I wanted to say less dense popular, but that's not the right way to say it, but you know what I mean. Not a lot of people, and so not a lot of like workshops and stuff, so it was really hard to get a job, and that is why I eventually started my mobile mechanics truck and service, and it took a while to get going, so I pretty much got by with forestry work. And now that I have a big forest of my own, I'm going to go back to forestry work in one way or another. I'm going to definitely do some tree felling, and I'm not sure yet how. I mean, I've already thought about maybe I can transport some logs with this thing, and maybe I can load them with the other loader. But yeah, we'll see about that. Technically, this thing is road legal. I can get this thing on the road, and can drive the logs to the sawmill. We do have a sawmill right here in the area, so that's not an issue. The logs I have on my farm, they are pretty much mostly smaller logs, so I'm not sure if the sawmill will actually take them to make boards, or if they just sell them on to a paper mill or something like that. Yeah, I think we can now go to the end of my driveway. I can show you again on the map where we are. We are up there in the northwest corner, and basically we are on the end of the road, or the road is basically only going to our area. I mean, it's also like feeding to a couple of like forest plots, but yeah, there is no real traffic here, so it's kind of like my private driveway. even though it is a public road, but yeah, it's only a couple of people that drive here every week at most. So yeah, it's kind of like a private drive. But anyways, let's just hit the gas pedal and drive down to the end of the driveway, where is also where my post goes, where my mailbox. That's the word. It's really it's funny. It's not like I don't know those words. It's just that they don't come to mind, and I have to think about them. I mean, I do watch a lot of English, like YouTube and English television, or like TV shows and stuff like that. And yeah, it's basically, I mean, I'm very immersed in language, so there isn't a lot of words that I never heard, and I'm supposed to know most of the words I'm going to use. But yeah, for some reason, sometimes they just don't come to mind. Also, as you can probably hear very clearly, is that my accent is kind of bad right now. If I'm doing a lot more English recording or generally English talking, my accent is getting like less heavy. But I think right now it is pretty bad. Anyways, I hope you'll still enjoy this video. So this is the end of my driveway pretty much, or yeah, not really my driveway, but you know what I mean, you know. This is also the moment where my hard drive decided to be full, so I had to delete a couple of old files, and now I'm back. Anyways, here's my mailbox, and also that's the name of the road I'm at. And you can see there's a little bit of traffic down here on the main road, and I mean, this is pretty much it, right? If I look up there, that's the village right there in the forest. You can't really see it, but yeah, that's it. More we don't have any like proper village here. For anything else, we really need to drive quite far. So yeah, I do put a lot of miles on both of my trucks, but yeah, that's what they're for. Anyways, let's just hop onto the nice tractor and go back to the farm. So yeah, my plans right now, I mean, I really thought I need to start recording videos. I wanted to record videos of the new farm. I wanted to show you all the process I'm going through to like actually setting it up as a farm. And yeah, I wasn't sure when to start like recording those videos, because as I said, I've bought a property a couple of months back, and I did a lot of work on the property. I also fixed a few things. I did some repainting on the buildings, and I mean, that's all stuff I could have shown, but I didn't, because, well, I just I never found the right moment to like start recording. But now I am. So the plan right now is that the first big thing is to make some hay. I don't have a baler right now, so I'm probably going to get a neighboring farmer to bale my hay for me. But I'm pretty much planning on doing the rest of the work myself. Of course, I don't know if any of the tools I bought will actually like hold up or even work well. As I said, I've never done any farming. I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, in theory, I kind of know how hay is made, but in practice, I never did it. I saw farmers do it. So yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it. And yeah, let's just I mean, this thing is, it loves to go fast. So yeah, let's just 2500 RPM, and yeah, it's fine with that. It loves it. So yeah, it's in that sense, it's a nice fun tractor. I mean, I'm really going to I'm curious. That's a better way of putting it. I'm really curious as to how the fuel usage is going to be when it's actually working. Yeah, we're going to see about it soon enough, I think, because yeah, we're going to make some hay. That's the plan. And other than that, I'm pretty much starting to fell some trees on the property. I have not felled any trees until now, because I didn't have the tools. I do have a lot of chainsaws actually, but I didn't have like the other tools. But now that I have the loader and the tipper, I might be able to transport some logs. I also might look into getting some more equipment, or let's just say in general, I want to get some proper forestry equipment. I would love to get myself my own harvester. I think I could use that harvester also for like work on other farms, like hiring out myself with the harvester, or just hiring out the harvester, that people can rent the harvester. So yeah, I'm kind of planning of getting a harvester at some point, but those things are so expensive. Of course, I need to like get a loan. I can't pay that out of pocket. So I kind of have to get into a more stable financial position first, with the whole farm and everything, so I can take a loan on the farm or something like that. So yeah, I need to look into that, but that is the plan eventually. Also, again, I'm not sure about the small equipment I have. If any of it is like too small to do actually the hay work. Maybe it's all too small. I have no idea. So I might look into getting some bigger equipment. And of course, the long-term plan is to not sell the hay, but to actually have animals to eat the hay. But the short term is to sell it. So anyways, I think that's about it. I didn't show you the other area of the farm. I can bring you to the other side of the forest. Also, we can have a look on the map. You can see pretty much this is the area that is mine. Also, those two fields, and also this part of the forest, but it's part of like lending it out. The farmer doesn't do anything with the forest, but it's just part of the plot. So that's not currently mine technically, but yeah. Also, I do have a plan of acquiring more land or more forest in general. Forest sometimes sells pretty cheap. There are regularly auctions around here, and I plan on acquiring some like property, some land, some forest, maybe some fields if I can, just because I think it is a good investment, and I think I'm going to actually get enough money off the land in the future by managing the forest and by also like selling stuff from the forest, that it is a sensible thing to do. Anyways, let's start this one. My good old work truck, it has a lot of miles on it, but I keep it very well serviced. So yeah, there's an old saying that I don't even know how it goes in English. Is a cobbler the person who does shoe repair? I think it's a cobbler. That goes something like the cobbler has the worst shoes or something like that, and the mechanic has the worst cars. In my case, that's luckily not true. Or as you've seen with all my equipment, I do take the time to repair it and to paint it and stuff like that. So basically, after I'm done working, I'm going home and I'm continuing working. So yeah, I did repair tractors or forestry equipment all day, and then I'm going home and I repair tractors again. But that is kind of what I enjoy doing. So yeah, I really it is important to me that the equipment is in very good shape and looks great and stuff like that. So yeah, I do put a lot of work into that, also money. But yeah, that's basically my hobby. That's what I do. Anyways, this is the other pasture, and you can see it is really big, and the forests around it are also mine. So basically, from here over there to the house, you can see the house through the trees right there. All this forest area, it's all mine. And we can go into this forest area just for a short moment of time. You can see that some of the trees are really close to another, and yeah, they kind of like here, this is just too close, and none of those trees will grow right. So this basically goes for most of the forest areas here. They haven't been managed in a while, so I can pretty much cut down a lot of trees to manage the forest area without really felling the entire forest. But I could also fell an area completely and just replant. Again, I have a lot of forests, so yeah, I will have to do some proper managing of the forest, but it's also what I'm going to plan to be doing in the future. That wasn't great English, I know. I'm sorry. Anyways, so let's just drive down this forestry road. Very, very lucky to have four-wheel drive around here, especially in wintertime. I can imagine it is going to be really, really difficult. As I bought the property only a couple of months back, I didn't have a winter in here so far. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. my last property, or my house, I mean property is, is a big word for basically a plot with a house on it. My last property was actually in town, not in here. It was actually quite far away. I moved quite far, so I do have a lot of like reacquisition of clients ahead of me, or also did that over the past couple of months. It is another reason why I didn't really like do any filming, or already did start some haymaking or stuff like that, because well, I was just really busy with getting the business up and running again, and getting my name out there, and proving myself to be actually a good mechanic, because well, people don't necessarily trust you if they don't know you. So yeah, we can take a look here. There is a little radio tower right there. Let's get out of the vehicle. There I can see radio tower and a nice little house. So I do have a good reception actually, because well, I'm basically just in line of sight of that thing. That is a positive. Yeah, so let's just go back to the road. This is where the road is. I think we are almost there. It's always if I look at it on Google Maps, it looks like just a very short drive through the forest, but if I actually go down this road, it just takes forever, because you can't really drive that fast already, because it's just like an old forest road. It's very bumpy and stuff. Like my driveway is way smoother. Again, I call it my driveway. It isn't really, it's a public road, but it's way smoother than this part of the road, because it's really just a forest track for like the forest right here. Nobody else uses it, and yeah, that is just not a lot going on here. Anyways, over there you can see those are pretty much my neighbors to one end. I mean, you can show you to Google Maps. I am pretty much as close to those neighbors as I am to the small village, like line of sight wise, or like as the crow flies, as you would say. So yeah, those are pretty much my only neighbors, or my closest neighbors. Yeah, I don't have a lot of neighbors around here. So yeah, that is the main road. So we are back on the main road, and also you can see we have a nice little lake around here. We could just drive down there for a moment, as we are already here. You can see there is the neighboring little farm, and yeah, let's just drive down here, drive down to the lake, show you the lake. It's a beautiful lake. Just use it to turn around right here. Yeah, it's really it's an incredibly beautiful area of land right here, and it is very like close to nature, and a lot of forest, a lot of plants and greenery, and it's a really peaceful area. So yeah, going back to the village right now, you can see over there a couple of houses. Over there in the forest is a house. So yeah, that's basically how the houses are here. Just here and there a house in a forest, more or less. Sometimes a small farm, and well, the little village I'm going to show you right now. If you look to the left, there is my, as I call it, driveway, and you can see we are actually kind of close to the village, at least driveway wise, because it's really like fast to get here. Because my driveway is pretty smooth, I can drive pretty fast down there, and right here we are at the entrance to the little village. And luckily we do have a little supermarket here. We can get food, which is really lucky to have a supermarket this close in like a sparsely right word, populated area. Also a pretty big, a good gas station. We are kind of the hub of the area when it comes to like shopping and stuff like that. We have pretty much everything right here, and all the people from like really far away also have a farmers market right there, where I can get a lot of like farmer related stuff, and like stuff to like house the animals, and fencing, and all kinds of stuff like that, and also like some common tractor parts and stuff like that, and bowls and things like that. So it's really good to have this right here. And some people have like to drive like 50, 60, 70 kilometers to get here to like buy groceries, and I pretty much have it like across the street, more or less. So yeah, this is pretty neat. And the rest of the village is pretty much like this: apartment buildings where a lot of families, small families, and also like workers are housed, because we do have a lot of forestry industry around here. And yeah, they need a place to live, and that is pretty much it. We are out of the village, driving back the road. This road is eventually going to be a dirt road. It's kind of ending at some point, so it's not like a main road. You can see right here over the bridge, and we are a dirt road. And yeah, it's pretty much a cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sac is the right word. Yes, I was looking for that. So we can find a way to try to turn around. Not many areas. There's a nice area to turn around. At the end of this road, there's of course also a farm or a house. You can see there is the mailbox, and over there is a house. So yeah, that's it pretty much. The area, I think I've shown you everything you need to see. If you want to see anything else, just tell me in the comments. I'm going to show you in the next video. If you want a tour of some other place. Anyways, I think in the next episode or in the next video we are going to try out our haymaking equipment. Firstly, the mower. I'm really curious if my little gasoline tractor can even handle the mower. I mean, horsepower wise it should be able to handle the mower, but since it's a gasoline tractor and not a diesel tractor, I'm not sure if it has the torque to actually like mow it. I did a test run, and it managed to spin up the mower, so it didn't like stall. You have to be very careful with the clutch and actually give it a bit of RPM, because if you just have it at idle, and even if you like release the clutch really slowly, it just stalls, because well, the gasoline engine doesn't have any torque at idle. But yeah, if you give it a little bit of gas, it actually works. So I just hope it pulls some more also when there is grass going through it. So yeah, let's just drive back to my home. This is the main street. It's the main connecting street between larger cities, so there is a lot of traffic on here. Also always have to wait a couple of cars to be able to like go, but yeah, that's fine. And I mean, it's also positive because I'm pretty much basically living on that street. I mean, just up there, but basically living on the street. So if I ever need to go some farther away place, I'm right away on like a big connecting street. I don't need to like drive on dirt roads for hours stuff. So for the amount of isolation I have here, I'm pretty well centrally located, right next to like all the important shops and gas stations, and the road that brings me to a big town if I just drive far enough. So I'm pretty happy about it actually, and this wasn't really anything I planned or looked forward. I pretty much, as I said, main selling point or main reason why I bought this plot was, I mean, you can see the house, it's up there. I mean, you can see all the other buildings are kind of sunk in the valley, but this house is on like a hill, and the view is pretty much incredible. And yeah, I mean, of course it isn't a lake view. I've also looked at properties that are right at a lake with a lake view. I mean, that's of course very pretty, but this property has a lot of other things going for it, in terms of the buildings and the overall area and the forest and stuff like that. So yeah, eventually I just settled for this, or went with this, because well, it had the overall best combination of things I was looking for. So yeah, I just went for it. I bought it, and I didn't regret it. I was very scared at the beginning, but I didn't regret it. And yeah, no hidden issues with the house so far. So yeah, a couple of hidden issues with the other buildings, but I mean, I kind of expected that. And as I said, I also had to fix a few things. I put a weather station up there, and generally I did fix a few electrical issues. So I do have proper electrical back there in the workshop and stuff like that. But overall, it's pretty okay. I mean, buildings are solid and well built. So what more do you want? Let's just close up those doors on both sides. And I would say we're going to end this video at this point. I'm going to well, I can't promise you time-lapse stuff, but I'm going to tell you, for everybody that is new here or didn't watch my other videos, that I generally tend to like include some time-lapse work in my videos, so it's not going to be non-stop talking without any edits. It is actually like time-lapse in between. But every once in a while I do a video where I just talk and talk and talk because, well, I talk a lot. And I think for an intro video to the new series, this is appropriate. So yeah, that's the end of the video. I thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I would really appreciate it if you left a comment. I usually don't do like, please comment, stuff like that, but especially when starting a new series and now in English again, I really would appreciate a comment. Really would appreciate if you tell me what you want to see. Our channel just giving some feedback to like the new series. If you like it, if you don't like it, what would you like to see? What vehicles would you like to see? What direction would you like to see it going? I mean, I do have a pretty solid plan in my head where this is going to go, but it's also everything is open for discussion. So if you have a good idea, I might change the plan. So yeah, looking forward to your comments. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.